Hey guys, it's incredibly late. It's like 11 o'clock or something, but um and this video is kind of late because Halloween is already passed. It is the second, I think. I don't know what day it is anymore. Um but I just wanted to do like one of my old costume makeups. It's really simple because I didn't have money for latex and blood and all the stuff you need for really complex makeup, so I literally like use some really basic drugstore stuff that works very well for me. Um so for 4 years I did haunted houses. Um I unfortunately I don't do it anymore. It's really fun. I love it. If you are somebody who maybe you have some like mental health issues, but you can handle like maybe if you have like anger issues or something, it's a really good outlet. So I would recommend it in that respect. Um, Personally, it did help me a lot with my mental health, which sounds weird, but it worked. I I want to say my second year. So my first year, I was placed in my own scene. I was doing my own thing. They let me. They were fine with it. We had no issues. Anybody who came into the scene asked me what I wanted done. Anybody who came into my scene had me run it how I wanted it to be run. If I had to cover for a different scene and somebody else got put in my scene, they'd ask me how I wanted it run, which I think only happened once. Yeah, once. And it was one of my best friends who was covering, and she already knew how I ran it because I was really happy and excited about running the scene. So, yeah. Um, my second year, which was we switched locations, so it was hard on everybody. We were all adjusting to a new location, having two haunted attractions at the same time, and then our cool down attraction. We didn't have a lot of actors because I live in not necessarily that kind of area where like people are like, "Oh my god, I have time to do a haunted house." Nobody here really has that kind of time to set aside so that they can do this. So I would initially I started out in an orphanage. And when there were issues with that, and our actress who was in this a revamped version of the scene I ran the year before, when she was saying, "Hey, I'm going to be leaving because I'm going to be moving. I want to be a clown before I leave," which we decided we were going to start allowing that year because it was a new location. We had a lot of new actors or different actors. So that was a really nice experience. Unfortunately, because of some stuff that did happen, we weren't allowed to have female clowns anymore, but whatever, that's besides the point, and honestly, it doesn't matter. Um, so this actress goes, "Hey, I want to be a clown." She gets the okay for it, but she's told, "You need to find, like, can you help us find somebody to run your scene?" And I at the time I was 5'1" and only 90 pounds. She goes, "She's tiny, put her in the scene." So I got moved to the dollhouse, which was honestly really, really fun. I had a blast doing that at the time because it was turned from a dead house to a dollhouse. So the dead house was basically like a cannibalistic family kind of thing with barnwood um, on the walls, and there were a bunch of gaps, and I could, because I was so small, I could just slide through them and run around, and you never knew where I was. I at the time I was pretty good at throwing my voice due to some issues with my voice now that occurred from some injuries. I can't do it as well. I would do really, really young voices and sound like a little kid, and then I'd drop my voice and sound like a man and scare people out. Uh, um, Obviously, I'm not gonna go all out and try to do the voices because that's annoying and can cause damage to my voice, which I am not very. Excuse that dog noise right there. She is laying on my lap. But there was a lot that went into this character, and we were a really small company, so I worked for RIP Productions. Um, and I don't work for them anymore, but they will always hold a special place to me, no matter what. So for 3 years after that, once I started until I stopped working for them, um, I did my own makeup, which helped me kind of gain the confidence to try and learn new things. And once I got a job working as wait staff at a nursing home, I went and bought effects makeup. I got latex, I got blood, I got paintbrushes because I did not have $50 to spend on actual brushes. So I bought paintbrushes. But I at that point I actually did have the money to put into it. So I'm just gonna recreate one of my really old ones that I did for most of the time I was there, even after I had gotten all the. Sorry, there was a thing on my screen. Even after I had gotten the really expensive, or not really expensive, but the professional makeup stuff. Um, I continued to use my basic stuff because to me it's just quicker, easier. I could do it in the car, while I'm at school or whatever, and I do makeup at school regularly for the haunted house. So people, my teachers did not really mind. They'd like, oh, what are you doing this time? Oh, just my doll makeup, and they'd leave it at that. So I'm gonna. I have my little makeup bag. I have a tiny mirror, so I'm not right here to try and show you how I'm doing my makeup. Um, so let's start. I gotta put my freaking hair up so I don't get anything in it. And yes, I have hair, just not a lot of it. But it does get in the way because of how it was cut. And I also don't have any hair ties, so I'm using a clip because I don't want to go out and buy hair ties. Alright, so to start, I'm going to use liquid eyeliner. I know. I'm going to take my glasses off. So liquid eyeliner. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing some stitching along my face, which I'm sorry if I'm holding the mirror really close and you can't see what I'm actually doing. I have two separate focal points in my eyes, so one eye is nearsighted, one is farsighted, so it makes it really difficult to actually see anything I'm doing ever. So I'm going to just hold it like this, and so I start with just making the lines of where I'm going to be putting stitches, and trying to make it as clean as possible. So one way I do that is, if I can help it, I move the brush as little as possible because my hands shake really bad. So I just slide my head and hope for the best. Try to get thin lines, which doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And now I have black hairs, because of course I do. So you're just gonna put a bunch of lines along your face. And the reason I'm doing this so late is because I wanted to do this before I take a shower so I can wash it all off afterwards, so it's not clogging up my pores when I go to bed. So feel like I have a good amount of lines all over my face. And right now it looks very cracked. I have it everywhere. So some nights I would leave it like this and maybe fill in some of the smaller gaps with black paint to give myself a cracked appearance. It doesn't work as well with my costume because it wasn't a porcelain dress. I was a voodoo doll. Well, plush doll more or less, which works a bit more because I have the round and darker face than some of my friends who pull off porcelain a lot better because they are lighter. So as you can see, some of them are a little weird. I never expect perfection from this, and every goof up I have, I turn into a what is it? I turn it into progress. So next I'm just going to do some X's and V's on my face over these lines to make it look like I have stitches in my face. And I have something playing on my, or I have something paused on my Xbox and it's trying to do a thing. So I'm just going to go back in with my liquid liner and knock this up. And doing this is a really long process because you have to do so many. So it does take a minute, which is why I would do it at school. Okay. One thing I do highly suggest when doing this makeup is you use a fine tip. It doesn't matter what type of brush you use. I use liquid lipstick, but always use a fine tip one because it makes the lines a lot smaller and more precise. Oh my gosh. I forgot how long this takes. Sorry, guys. And so I noticed that line was a little weird, so I just touched up a little bit. I'm going in with stitches. And the nice thing about this is the stitches don't have to be perfect because you're meant to look asymmetrical and kind of creepy. I'm trying to like whiten my eyes to make it easier to get to the corners. Sometimes it works, but okay. And we are on our last two lines. One's kind of long though. Oh. Okay. Alright, so once that is done, you can see some of the goof ups, but all in all, it is not horrible. I have some mistakes, and that is fine. Okay, now, because you want it to be as matte as possible, you're going to take a brush, and I always use white to just keep it in place. As you can see, I have used it a lot because the other colors still have shape. And you just it's kind of just like setting powder, except it's not. It's eyeshadow. But I am a little bit lazy and broke, so I don't really have money for setting powder, especially not when I was in high school. So I used eyeshadow. Now there is a chance I would be able to afford it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to using my mirror, but there is a chance that now I'd be able to afford it. But seeing as I no longer do haunted houses and nobody really asks me to do their Halloween makeup, and because Halloween's already passed, I'm not going to invest a whole lot of money in it this year at least. You know, if somehow this makes it to popularity and people I know see it, then hell yeah, I would gladly do makeup for people for Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I love it more than Christmas. And it also is a birthday for a family member, so I love my family members' birthdays, and I love holidays, and I love candy and scary things. So Halloween is kind of the full package for me. I know this is a very unflattering angle. Oh god. I just kind of don't have anywhere to set my camera right now because it is my phone. So it's on a little plush dude that I have lovingly named Phone Buddy after I stole it from my fiance. And I usually use it in the car or when I go to bed watching YouTube, and you just hold my phone so I can see, or so my phone doesn't overheat under my pillow, because apparently I am a monster when I try to sleep and have any electronic with me, and it overheats, and then I sleep in and I'm late for school. Or I just don't go because what's the point? After a certain point of sleeping in, I just don't show up. And as some of you know, I am in college. So I should definitely not be bailing on some of my classes because my tuition is expensive and definitely outside my budget. But I need that education, and I'm also depressed. So, as you can see, it's very white, very noticeable. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let that do its thing. Yeah, we're going to use... No. Okay. So it kind of depends on the day for me. But there is... Some days I would use this really nice color. I love this color. It is one of my favorites. It's a nude color. It smells beautiful. And I also have this in bright red, but it is the Meet Matte Hues Sentimental color. Yeah, you probably can't read that at all. Anyway, but it's beautiful. It smells like peppermint. It is lovely. And I would usually do like blues or pinks on the eyes and some blush and make myself look all cute. And I don't have the energy for it tonight. So I'm gonna I'm just gonna do the cute little doll lip, which, as everybody knows, obviously dolls have small lips. There you go. If I can, yeah, see? Doll lips. But yeah, usually I don't know where my bright colors went for eyeshadow. I only have my neutrals. But I do that, and then I just do some mascara, which I already have on because I wore makeup today. And then if the Matte Hues liquid lipstick gets dry, I just put some of the nude on. That way I'm not caking lipstick on. And it just kind of makes it look a lot better and feel a lot better on my face. And then I would usually use a brush, but I don't feel like going and getting one. So once you get the rest of your face on, it doesn't take long for it to stick. I just brush off or blend out any excess eyeshadow from the stitches because now they have grade. They don't look as fresh. They look older and a bit more believable, but not horribly believable. So this is the mostly finished. Again, like I said, I would usually do eye makeup and blah blah blah. It is 11, I want to say, yeah, it's almost 11:20 at night, so I'm not doing that. I am just doing this as a quick tutorial. I actually did neutral colors today for school because I didn't want to go wake my roommate up and ask for her palette because I am not rude and they just got back from a trip. So this is the finished look. It looked better when I had my long hair, but I could still probably pull it off if I did something to my hair to fix it. Probably straighten it a little bit and then tease it to make it look messier, which, whatever, I'm showering anyway. So you just kind of mess your hair up a bit. I have a costume upstairs. Again, my roommates are asleep, so I'm not going to go get it. And it probably doesn't fit me anymore because I've gained, like 50 pounds? So that's not happening. But yeah, this is the finished drugstore, except for that Matte Hughes lipstick. The rest is drugstore makeup. The Matte Hughes lipstick, I know you can, or at least you could when I got it, get it at Kohl's. And actually, I don't use pinks very often. I got it because my god sister said she'd buy it for me as long as her daughter could pick out a color, and this is the one my god sister's kid picked out. But it is a really nice color for makeup for doll makeup. It is very nice. You can see there's not a lot of cracking, and the stitches, after letting that powder sit a little bit, they look a lot duller so that they're not popping off your face. But yeah, so next I might, if I, if I don't wait until 11 o'clock p.m. to do it, I might actually do full latex and everything and do a probably like a doll with stuffing coming out, like I didn't get stitched all the way, which I've done a few times in practice. I think I've only done it once at the haunted house. So, yeah. Um, don't forget to leave any comment or anything in the comments that you'd like to see in future videos. Any haunted house makeups. I can usually figure out how to do them. Any songs you might want me to sing or anything you generally might want me to do. Alright? Bye!